Good morning, everybody. This is Jack Gleason with Startuptrading.com. It's 9 o'clock in the morning on Monday, September 21st, 2020. For our economic news events this morning, we had ECB President Lagarde speaking, and then at 10 a.m., Powell will be speaking. So half an hour after the bell, maybe he saves the markets. At Tuesday, we have Great Britain Pound Governor Bailey speaking. And also we have speeches from two FOMC members today. Brainerd and Williams will be speaking at 12 o'clock and then 6 o'clock this evening. Other Red Star news events, there's quite a bit of news this week. We have the RNBZ, or the New Zealand rate statement. Powell's testifying again tomorrow. French PMI numbers, all the European PMI numbers will be coming out. Powell's going to testify again on Wednesday, so he's on the mic and talking like basically every single day this week up until Thursday, where Mnuchin will be speaking and Powell will be speaking. Excuse me, I'm not sure if that's in front of Congress or what, but that is going to be a lot to digest this week. So markets whacked, Robinhood traders burned. Just kind of made the title a little funny here because I think Robinhood traders only wrong. I could be wrong. They don't guide traders because typically when you first start trading, you're only used to or understand how to really make money when the market goes higher, versus being a futures or even forex trader. You pretty much trading both sides of the market every single day, so you don't really care. But a pickup in volatility is helpful. And I want to really just highlight some major levels of support here that I could see potentially come into play, as well as what our downside targets are for the S&P 500. Now, we have this extension here, and I've been going over this for some time, from March 31st high to high. The 38% retracement is 32.23 half. Also, within this area, we have a swing mark, previous swing highs, previous swing lows, all inside of here. So really, I want to pay attention to first thing here. Today is the previous high we broke out of on the daily chart, going back to what is June 8th, as well as right below that 38% retracement. That is really what I want to wait for, and that is a 32.23 half. Now, when it comes down to downside targets, we never traded the full 50% retracement short. That's just something to be aware of. We never traded it. That downside target is within 3 points of our 38% retracement. That downside target is 32.26 half if we had traded it. Now, what we did trade was an extension short from 35.51 quarter that traded once. It traded twice. The front run on the third time last Wednesday, and we've been selling off ever since. That downside target is at 32.35. Now, on Thursday, we had a full 50% retracement short, and it traded perfectly. It was a 33.64.75. We spent, the rest of the day basically selling off to the bottom of the range, and then what happened was we completed that move on Friday into the close. After the completion of that short target, we short covered and just ripped right up into that next measure move. Perfect halfway back short. Absolutely perfect halfway back short. And then once again, we've completed that next measured move here. So what we're going to have going into the day is just our third traditional, and it is 32.8675, and it should absolutely be respected. 32.8675. 32.84 half is a previous daily swing high. That's why that's that dotted orange line. So the first resistance level I will be paying attention to here today is 32.8675, and if we get down towards 32.23 half here today, that is the point at which I believe support will potentially come in. Now, we are definitely still bearish on the price action. Even if we do trade that support, there's going to be a lot for bulls to prove that they are able to flip this market around. So pay attention very closely to 32.8675 above us, and then the 32.23 half below us. I will share all these levels with the obviously everybody in the room. Moving on to the Dow. Now, the Dow has that extension below, and the Dow is much further away than the S&P 500 is from its support. The interesting thing about the Dow is our profit targets of this Dow extension were really the high of the market. And that's what date was that? That was on the 3rd of September when we completed what was the negative 23% profit target of this extension in the Dow. That was it. That was on the 3rd. Now that same anchor new high does not come into play until 25,293, and that's at the 50% retracement. I'm going to move this over a bit. We also have that 38.2 at 26,211. I do want to be aware of the June contracts low to high. That is right below us. That June contract low to high is right below. So I'm just going to leave that level up. But opposing that, those are all just higher time frame support levels, which is currently, obviously not the direction of the most recent momentum. We have a very clean 50% retracement short that traded for the first time on the 9th of September. Futures rolled over. We retested on the 16th, and we have come off of those levels. Now, those downside targets are going to be 26,714. 26,714. So about 300 points below where we are currently trading. And I wouldn't even expect the market to be able to produce anything significant when it comes down to a short covering rally until we get down and push to those levels. Now, if you look at what happened last week, we had that Wednesday high to what was the Thursday low. We traded it halfway back. We retested, and then we dropped like a rock. We then had our 50% retracement short. That has gone totally through its targets, and the Dow is in fact inside of an extension short sequence from Friday's low to low here going into the beginning of the day. And even if we were to break that, there would be other potential resistance levels above, but we have absolutely a valid extension short, and that current 50% retracement is lining up with the lows going back to what is September 8th. So the lows we broke down through here in the overnight session are going to line up with our extension short. We are bearish below at 27,210. Higher time frame downside targets 26,714. Nothing bullish about this, guys. Moving on to the NASDAQ, which, like the S&P 500, is inside an extension short. Last week, we did mark up this 10,643 quarter. Now, I always like to pay attention to when the NASDAQ completes, because the NASDAQ, at least on the way up, every time it ran into almost any short target, it produced a ridiculously aggressive rally. Now, things very well could have changed. We are looking a whole lot different on this chart than what we did on the way up. But what's important to note is where the downside targets are here for the NQ. It's a 10,643. Also, with the higher time frame extension here, we had the high of March 31st, 79.95. The high, that full 50% retracement would be at 10,230, and that very well could be, where we're making our way down into. But moving into the day, our downside target here is, assuming we're going to continue selling off another 100 points, that is right at where this NASDAQ is going to come into. And every time I have a downside target, I just like to look, what is if I were to look left on the chart, kind of what is that level. And I'm just going to go here. And I'm just going to draw a line straight across my chart, and we'll look at it from a daily perspective and just kind of see. Go here, edit this, left extension on. And then I just like to see, is there closes at that level? Is there, is this a battleground? You can see that there's a couple of closes, just general consolidation here. But I do believe that outside of just and this very well could be one of those days where we open down, 1.5% and close down 4%. We don't know. But if there's any position where, shorts are taking profits and covering their position, it's going to be at that 10,643 here today for the NASDAQ. So I am absolutely watching that and have that alerted. As far as the downside sequence and what we're currently trading, the NASDAQ coming out of what was Wednesday's high, we had this traditional measured move short, and that traditional measured move short went totally through targets. We began new extensions. Those extensions held once a target. We had a same anchor new low. We traded that, completed targets, and then that same anchor new low has come off its 38.2. So that same anchor new low that came off its 38.2 here in the overnight session, that downside target is 10,605. Okay, and maybe we'll complete the deeper target before getting a more significant short covering rally. But that same anchor new low, oops, I actually have this drawn a little off. Get on this low candle. That gives us a downside target of 10,608. But yeah, those are two of our downside targets, and we are absolutely bearish here in this market. Absolutely bearish here. Moving on to the oil market, which last Tuesday, if you find yourself a little better at trading alongside markets, oil is definitely something to pay attention to. At some point in time this week, if we come into the full halfway back long, that is a valid setup. It's a 38.92 right now, but there is also an extension series from what is the Tuesday high before the breakout too high that it's traded once to target with futures rolled over, and then we had a same anchor new high. Now that same anchor new high has had its participation on its 38% retracement. It's dipped in quite a little bit. I still want to see the 50% here trade, and that's at 39.87 here for CL. 39.87 below is 39.87 and 38.92 are the two support levels I am watching, and I'll leave it at that. Moving on to the currencies, which are getting pretty volatile. Now we have a pretty aggressive extension that completed here in the USD JPY that goes back to the low of September 9th. We've completed that negative 61 down here. I want to be aware of where that level would be if it did trade again. Same anchor, new low, that 38% retracement. Now, I don't think that's coming into play today. What we have right now is a traditional series. We had Friday's high to Friday's low, halfway back to target. Now we have that end of the day, Friday high to low at 104.31, 104.31, and we are continue. Just look at this. This is just a stair step down, over and over and over again. We've just been seeing selling pressure. 104.31 does line up with Friday's low, as well as the overnight leg down. 104.31 for the USD JPY. The Aussie dollar is right at a support level that I have previously been watching, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens here. However, because we have broke down so aggressively, I am using a bearish below line in the sand as a 50% retracement short for the week. It's a 72.90, and I'm going to be watching the 72.79 halfway back short for the week, which lines up with the lows of Friday for a breakdown. So only if we get back above 72.90 will I start reconsidering longs here in the Aussie dollar. And the euro is right back at this daily support level that's held over and over and over again, and that is the 117.57. It's a 38% retracement of a daily extension we've been inside of. But every time we come down here, we just go back to the top of the range and we fall all the way back down. Ideally, the levels of support I'm still looking at below. I want to see this 50% retracement trade at the 116.93. Because we've just been bouncing off this 38.2 forever and are unable to get above the opposing short. We're unable to get above the opposing short, but the opposing short does target right into that 50. It's a 16.93. Moving on to the VIX, which will be very important to pay attention to when you're watching the indexes. Now, the VIX futures rolled, and often with rollover, traders don't have new positions on new contracts, so they will add to those positions. that can lead to a bid up here in the VIX, which is what we've had. We never came into our full halfway back long at 28.44 after the rollover. Instead, we were bid off the 38% retracement. There was a bid Friday off the 38% retracement on the continuous contract in the VIX. That upside target is going to be at 33.69. So one thing we can absolutely look forward to and can be laser focused on is where are the indexes if and when the VIX trades 33.69, call it 33.70. Where are the indexes? Are they at a support levels? Because that is what can produce a short covering rally, is when the VIX is completing this long target. So it's definitely something to pay attention to if and when it happens. And then finally, moving on to the USD CAD here, which held a very nice 50% retracement long out of Friday's low to what was Friday's high. We've completed those targets. So what I will look for now is just that Sunday night low to high. And this is probably one of my favorite trades setting up on the currencies right now. That gives us a 132.17 50% retracement long here for the USD CAD at or below. And then finally, gold and silver. Gold is retesting once again that 2011 breakout high. We have traded through this wedge. Remember this wedge that was building last week? We failed to break out of that wedge Wednesday. Friday, there was a 50% retracement short that technically broke, and then Sunday night it held. So at this point in time, gold is bearish below the halfway back short for the week. So today's high to whatever low we get put in, we are bearish below, and right now that is a 1947.4. We are bearish below that level, and the only setup is a short on the higher time frame. Silver has retested this higher time frame long, but at the same time, silver, because we're selling off in short sequences, we are bearish below, and I'm just going to use the halfway back short from the week's high, today's high, in the overnight session to low, bearish below at 26.71. Bearish below 26.71, but we're at the same time, I don't like shorting into this low because this low is held for weeks. So we'd have to rally up into 26.58 to find resistance, but we have not been able to break through this low going all the way back to the beginning of August, and we're in late September here. We bounced potentially, or this is going to take us through finally through this $26 support level for the silver market. But that is going to wrap up my morning trade plan. I will share my levels with every one of the Startup Trading members in the Startup Trading chat room. We'll take it from there. Trade safe, guys. Remember to focus on the higher time frame, best support and resistance levels, the place of risk when you're trading. Everybody have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys in the trade room. Take care. Trade safe, guys. Remember to focus on the higher time frame, best support and resistance levels, the place of risk when you're trading. Everybody have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you guys in the trade room. Take care.